In 1941, a bunch of young Thai men are recruited into the army as new members, thus everyone has their picture taken. Then they creep into the pier where Mok takes a few coins to allow them to peep into a boat. It happens that a soldier is playing around with a woman and his comrades are spying on him, and they start playing around with their hands. In a moment, the captain comes and shouts at Mok about his small business. He also performs mock exercise as he storms into the boat to rebuke the rest as well. However, instead of paying attention, Mok and his friend throw a net over the captain, and the team runs away. The captain is also swift and he appears on the road to stop them. After that, he punishes them by sending them out on the beach hours and hours. The boys end up playing with the waves. Meanwhile, the brother of Mok, Mek, gets to know that his girlfriend Pen is pregnant. He is so thrilled about the news that he offers a ring to propose, and Pen agrees. The panicking of a fisherman breaks their journey, with the fisherman jumping out of his boat to inform me that he spotted enemy ships on the horizon. Moments later, the Thai military leaders have a meeting with the Japanese team to negotiate. According to Dr. Kaido, Japan desires to move forward to India and China, hence, they will use Thailand as their platform. He notes that the Thai government accepted to make war reparations and even supply them. Kaido even plays a video to demonstrate to them their biological weapon of experiment. One of the men twitches a few minutes and then his face is monstrous. Japan does not wish to war against its allies, but it will employ this weapon in case Thailand fails to cooperate. The Thai general accepts to surrender their base to Japan, but justifies that he has to make some kind of a fight. Then the soldiers are put on high alert and the young soldiers have to prepare to fight, but Mok chooses to go home instead. The captain arrives and informs the mother of Mok, Tarn, that every soldier is supposed to be reporting to duty. Tarn has already lost her husband in the war and does not want to lose her kids, thus she fights with the captain to gain some time, as Mok runs away through the back door. As Mok gets to the woods, he stumbles into Mek, who challenges him as a coward and one who always ran away with his issues. Mok salutes him mockingly and tells him he will not remain to be butchered, something he did not want to be like the rest of the family, a soldier. Mek tells him that he is going to be an uncle, and Mok tells him that they should run away together, and Mek says that he will not do it, as he does not want to leave his loved ones alone. After Mek leaves, Mok has to deal with his inner struggle. On the beach, the Thai troops are being slaughtered by the Japanese army. Bodies are falling everywhere without sparing, and the seawater is becoming red. Mok returns and soon joins his teammates, who flee in panic. The captain begins shouting at them in an attempt to get them to fight, but a bullet immediately kills him. As the fight begins to drag on, Maul makes his crew flee. A Japanese box washes ashore nearby. It then suddenly opens and a zombie crawls out. In the woods later, the young soldiers continue to run, but there is something that is running very fast among the trees and is leaping upon the men, killing them one by one. Having done much running, Mok finds himself to be the sole soldier, and to add to that, he walked into a swamp, and he is being gradually drowned. His entire body is submerged in a few seconds. That is when a soldier sticks his hand in the water and hauls Mok out. Then, upon breathing in deeply, Mok turns up and is alarmed to find that he has been rescued by a zombie. Actually, the swamp is encircled by all his teammates, which shows that they have all changed. In the office, the Thai military leaders and Kaido hear the news, which proves that the Thai government has requested a ceasefire and is currently negotiating with Japan. A few moments later, a patrol force arrives at the forest and discovers bones that are suspended on a vine. This vine suddenly begins to shake, and the sound triggers the zombies, who emerge out of their hiding to attack. The zombies are struck down by the patrol firing right at them. After several minutes of just shooting randomly, the soldiers try to retrieve the bodies, only to see that the zombies are gone. As they turn back, they find that their leader has lost half of his head and a zombie is sucking on it. The remaining zombies are soon back and soon surround them with a surprise attack. At the bottom, a desperate mother searches in vain after her lost husband. Pen is there working as a nurse and assures her that the search teams will soon locate all of them. The radio reports that the talks have succeeded and Japan and Thailand are now friends, and therefore, the Thai citizens are requested to assist the Japanese soldiers. After some time, Mek comes to the forest to find his brother, but he can only see body parts and a dying fire. He then, all of a sudden, he hears a noise and traces the noise to a spike pit where he spots a soldier at the bottom. Merc wraps a rope around a tree and gets up into the pit, hoping to assist the man, but he is appalled to see a zombie that has lost its face. The zombie instantly strikes him and Mech takes a spike to fight him. With a bit of effort, Mech drives away the zombie and impales him. However, the zombie continues to move. Then Mech takes the rope and begins climbing out. The zombie catches his leg and pulls him down, and he accidentally drops his pocket watch. On falling, Mech is able to pick a pike off the fire that is going out. The sparks instantly set the zombie on fire, and this eventually kills him. Mech also has his eye burnt by one spark. Mach wakes up on the beach only to find more zombies and chewed bodies. He recalls the events that occurred in the forest as he observes a butterfly. Mach gets bitten and turns into a zombie. As it turns out, the other zombies were feasting and one of the women was having her organs pulled out as Mach leaped on a little girl. Nowadays, Mach screams in frustration because he understands that he has turned into a monster. Mech reports to his superiors what he observed when he goes back to the base. Kaido is given the now vacant box and desperately requests Mech the whereabouts. Then Kaido watches some videos to revise the ancient research. His biological weapon is a virus and was tested on 2 sets of animals. Group 1 survivors exhibited high degree of strength, aggressiveness, and effective combative behavior. They also had signs of cannibalism, but the survivors of Group 2 did not assault. Although they were more powerful and quick, it appeared that they possessed some restraint. At the forest, Mach examines the fragments of bodies on the ground, yet he does not respond. Towards the pit, he discovers the watch of his brother and retrieves it. He has a photo of his parents that makes him cry, but this crying turns into roaring and the other zombies roar with him. In the medical tents, Mech checks the patients to look for his brother to no avail. One of the survivors hears him speaking and informs him that he had seen Mach. Mech is in dire need to know where, but his inquiry is interrupted by his commander requesting him to attend a meeting. A Japanese soldier is reprimanded in the main tent because he lost the box, and therefore he tries to solve his shame by self-cutting with a knife. Upon the arrival of the commander and the Mech, Kaido tells them that his biological weapon got out of the box and that it would turn other people into zombies as well. The commander desires to report this, but Captain Nakamura prohibits it. He says that he has a scheme to fix this and keep it confidential and presents them with an official document by the Thai military commanders which compels Mech and his commander to join the destroyer task force to get all the zombies alive. In the forest, Mach watches the other zombies eat any body that they find on the ground. He recalls how he pursued the girl and devoured her without any mercy, a fact that makes him guilty. Mach picks a gun and attempts to self-D when his body heats up and begins to produce a strange fluid that burns his hands. His entire body is yet to burn. However, another zombie forces him into the mud to extinguish the fire and even smears his entire body with mud. Meanwhile, Kaido is still going through the research. The reaction was positive when a larger amount of the virus was injected. They found that specimens would self-combust during especially stressful or emotional events. Thus, Kaido understands that fire is the weak point of zombies. The virus started to evolve when it was tested in human beings. Several hours later, Mach is awakening in a cave where all the zombies are also getting out of their naps. Pack leader Nu arrives carrying an animal to eat and they scream at him in desperation, yet Nu screams more and goes back to make them yield. The zombies charge towards the animal after Nu has left. Mach tracks Nu and discovers him in one of the corners of the cave, weeping over photos of his wife and the poem she wrote him. This causes Mach to revisit the image of his parents and he recalls the day when the captain had come to his house to recruit Mech. Mach was glad his brother would be away since he would get his bed and sing an obscene song about how Mech was killed in the battlefield, which the rest of them considered to be offensive. In the present, Mach cries and finds the same sadness in the way Nu is howling. As Nu gets out of the cave, Mach trails him and discovers the pictures in the water. Nu is standing on the river and gazing forward since he is hallucinating the ghost of his wife. She speaks love and reads the poem, which exposes Nu to much grief and stress. When Nu yells in frustration, his body turns into ashes and touches a plant to cause it to blossom. In the meantime, the rest of the zombies are also feeding on a large animal, yet they are still hungry. One of them is able to talk and informs his friends that Japan did this to them. Then they must eat them to revenge. The task force discovers a massacre in the forest. Blood, flesh, and limbs everywhere. So they trail the trail of destruction and continue searching the zombies. Nakamura hides his team when they finally hear something going on around them. Then he draws out a knife to shed some blood. The smell attracts instantly a zombie who goes up to Nakamura. He is however shot with a harpoon by a soldier before he can strike. The zombie is captured at the bottom where it is confined in a cage. The soldiers throw hot water at him and MCH complains considering it torture. He believes that it would be easier to kill the creature, yet Kato desires to capture all the zombies and preserve them to investigate them. That is when the zombie takes the harpoon off his body and rattles the cage bars, thus a soldier shoots him a few times. The zombie is much in pain, yet he will not die. Then a civilian is brought on board and the zombie instantly identifies him as a father. They both cry for each other as the father demands to know what they did to his son. Nakamura suddenly stabs the father in the head and the zombie has a breakdown. Meg goes mad instantly, and his commander takes him away and reminds him that they no longer have authority. Then Nakamura orders his men to pour poison gas on the zombie, who continues crying and reaching out to his father. One of the furious mech sleeps on Nakamura and hits him, thus the commander must drag him back once again. Nakamura draws his sword and orders the commander to take care of his men. Mechanically, the commander tells Mech that he is no longer on the mission and as a result he has to go home. At that moment, the zombie manages to break the cage and come out. The soldiers are amazed as the monster begins to consume his own father. Upon returning to the cave, Mach finds the zombies talking about their life in the past. They both had future aspirations, which they had to drop when they were compelled to enlist in the army. One of them confesses that he would like to sing, and he offers a song, and everyone starts singing. It is at this point that they notice that one of them is lost, so they agree to go looking for him. The people of a neighboring village are performing a special ceremony in their attempt to keep the evil creatures away. Very soon, the village is surrounded by the zombies, which begin to feed on the inhabitants. A mother and her daughter are shocked to notice that one of the monsters is their beloved husband and father. At the same time, Pen is riding home on her bicycle, but she has to halt to repair the light. She suddenly sees somebody walking and screams as it is just a couple of legs. Tarn is praying at home that her son will be returned safely, but is not aware that Mach is heading towards the house. She considers the falling of a picture on the wall a bad omen and shuts the window. Then she goes out to smoke and is abruptly shocked by Mech, who instructs her not to go out. He also elaborates that his brother is likely to be alive. Tarn hugs him and thanks of the good news. Mach, who has overheard all this, cries knowing that he is not able to see them again, so he leaves. Just then Pen comes and informs them of what she witnessed. Mech instantly draws a gun and hands it to Tarn, instructing her to shoot anything suspicious and burn it down should it continue to move. In the forest, a monk is meditating behind a veil. One of the zombies attempts to come to him and the monk instantly identifies him as his son, so he begins praying. Before he goes, the zombie goes to his knees and prays. A zombie is close by and is trailing the mother and her child. The zombie is able to catch up to the girl when she falls, but he is frozen by the fact that he has realized that he has a daughter. The soldier is about to shoot at that time when the commander and his right hand arrive and the commander restrains him. The zombie attempts to speak her daughter and tells her name. Thus, the girl rubs his face and cries that her dad is injured. The task force is introduced when the zombie is getting ready to touch her head. The mother drags the girl away before the soldiers shoot their harpoon, but the soldiers fail their shot and end up killing both the woman and the child instead. Then the other zombies come, so the soldiers open fire. The commander identifies them as his men, hence he chooses to fight on their behalf by shooting the Japanese soldiers. Regrettably, his right hand is killed instantly. When the commander is shot, as well, he identifies Mach in the group of zombies and instructs him to flee before he falls dead. Mach takes the body of the commander and screams to kill him. At this point, Mech comes in and witnesses the zombies feasting on the task force. One of the creatures is even tearing the entire rib cage of a soldier. Then he realizes that Mach has turned into a monster and shoots him on the shoulder. On the way to the running, Mach calls the name of his brother. However, Mech shoots him a second time. A frenzied Mach goes on pleading. Nevertheless, Mech shoots the third time and makes his brother fall off a cliff. Mech collapses and screams in anguish. He feels guilty of what he died. Then, Mach suddenly comes back and hits him. Minutes after, Mech wakes up and finds out that he is a zombie as well. At the bottom, Kaido informs Nakamura Jr. that his father is too dangerous in his idea of keeping the zombies alive. As Kaido watches a video on the impact of the zombie ash on nature, Nakamura Jr. charges him with treason. Kaido justifies that he would rather be a traitor than have more people killed by the zombies. Pen, Tarn, and the monk are taken to a safe house in the morning together with all the remaining civilians. The Japanese troops take photos of the young Thai recruits, saying they have found their bodies and they have to identify them. The civilians all break down as they witness the faces of their son in the board. Nakamura tells a Thai commander that they have to kill all the civilians after he puts a zombie in the box, since there cannot be any eyewitnesses. They will tell that they were victims of war. The commander complains, however Nakamura tells him that the government's already agreed to this. In the cave, Mach sees a few zombies eating a person whom he recognizes as an old friend. He shouts at them and the zombies retaliate by assaulting him. So, a fight ensues. Mech rushes to assist his brother when he realizes that he is being overpowered, and he tells him that he has gained great power. He beats the entire team with ease and yells at them in anger, which makes them drop on their knees in submission. At that moment, another zombie enters the cave. He says that he was taken and tortured, but he escaped. He also tells him that their parents are just about to be executed. Mach believes that it is a trap to get them out, but Mech does not want to leave his family, and he calls his brother a coward once again. A soldier is leading the civilians in the forest in the pretext of prayer, whereas Nakamura and his soldiers are on the lookout in their hiding place. Nakamura Jr. attempts to communicate with his father, who is disregarded. The zombies soon come in and the civilians break down on seeing what their sons have turned out to be. After that, Nakamura commands his men to open fire, and thus the civilians begin being murdered. They all fall dead to the ground one by one. The zombies are running to embrace their dying family members as they weep. Mach holds onto his mother and Mech is crying over Pen. Mech eventually decides to bite his girlfriend, though, keeping her alive by turning her into one. At that point, Nakamura presses a button to cause a hidden cage to emerge out of a stack of leaves and seclude all the zombies. Meanwhile, a soldier puts the cage. Mech bites his mother, but it is already too late to change her, thus she is not chained. The soldier is bitten by another zombie on the lock and he runs back to his team. Within a couple of minutes, the soldier becomes a zombie and attempts to assault the rest of the task force. Nakamura soon draws his sword and cuts off his neck to bring him down. The zombies continue shaking the cage in frustration, and with the help of the power of Mech, the lock is open. Then the zombies emerge to assault the task force, and in no time, there are a few new creatures created out of bitten Japanese men. Nakamura throws 2 grenades in horror, and the blast succeeds in killing a few of the zombies, though the majority of them flee. In the forest, Pen is getting used to being a zombie. Merc tells him he had stolen a sword belonging to a dead soldier and declares his revenge when his eyes turn black. He delivers a speech to have the other zombies on his side, but Mach is alarmed when his brother tells them that they should create more zombies to join their group, as he does not believe that other people should suffer in the same manner as they did. Another zombie also complains and says that he lost his brother in the explosion, and thus this revenge will only bring about more death. Mech picks up the sword to strike him, but Pen leaps in to protect him and is killed. Ma is screaming with the pain, but Mech does not respond. He simply slays the other zombie and claims that he has a plan. The following morning, Mach wakes up with thoughts about his family and all the crazy things that have occurred during the last few days that he cannot cope with all these emotions. He then suddenly sees an hallucination of his family and his body begins to turn into ash. Nevertheless, he transforms into a zombie again when he recalls his brother referring to him as a coward who does not fight anything. At the bottom, Nakamura breaks into the tent of Kato and shoots him in the head. He then goes through every note of Kato and finds out that the zombies are vulnerable to fire, and thus instructs his men to retrieve the flamethrower. A few minutes after, Nakamura and his troops are pursuing a few zombies in the woods. The pursuit later leads them to a cave where they are shocked to see thousands of fireflies. Without warning, all the bugs vanish and the zombies take advantage of the dark to strike. The soldiers immediately open fire, but the bullets fail to kill the zombies and it is easy to move forward and begin biting members of the task force individually. When a man uses the flamethrower, the zombies are pushed off and another pursuit comes. The zombies are feeding on one of its soldiers and this is discovered by the task force. So, they open fire again while running to hide in a narrow passage. The zombies pursue them and one after another, the Japanese soldiers are slaughtered without much ado. The only person who survives is Nakamura, who gets out of the passage and runs until he falls in a puddle. He soon spreads all of his body with mud and leans against the wall. Therefore, when the zombies arrive to hunt him down, they do not notice him and continue walking. Then Nakamura begins to move very slowly, plotting a surprise attack. But a firefly comes and betrays his position. So back come the zombies to him. Nakamura tries to activate the flamethrower, but the mud has clogged it. While the zombies bite Nakamura, the fallen Japanese soldiers start transforming. Nakamura is also turned into a zombie soon. Meanwhile, Mach comes and discovers the flamethrower on the floor. As the Thai zombies attempt to exit the cave, they discover that the entrance is blocked by Mach. Faked screams of his brother and his teammates, which arouses the memories of Mech. His eyes are restored to sanity, and he salutes Mach, who throws the flamethrower to make them all ablaze. When the task force and Nakamura are finished transforming, they arrive at the entrance. Mech and his men jump on them at once to get the fires out so that all can die together. Mach also leaps into his death after remembering his friends one more time. Subscribe to watch more videos like this. Leave a comment about your favorite movie, and we will make it next. Thanks for watching.